historia del metal. El éxito sin precedentes de Quiet Riot de Los Ángeles en 1983 puso de cabeza al negocio de la música. Heavy metal, la música para los proscriptos, se colocaba hasta arriba en las listas del pop, y las compañías disqueras en ambas costas se apresuraron para sacar provecho.
As record companies started seeing gold in them Thar hills, you know, and started trying to figure out how to cookie cutter a new metal movement, hair metal was defined and born.
We were an accident looking for a place to happen. The world was ready, and the industry was ready.
We thought about what we were getting into. We knew there was going to be a lot of everything, and that's what we wanted.
It just catapulted. We went from moving the pool table at the Pine Grove Inn to playing Texas Stadium with Aerosmith.
Hair metal in the 80s, it's a combination of popular music and heavy metal. It's really image-based, like, you know, it's all about your haircut and having a cute bass player and facial makeup and videos with hot chicks.
During that period of time, you had this new thing called MTV. All of a sudden, all those videos had to be bigger than life.
Luckily, there are all these bands in Los Angeles who base their whole music career on having a grid-shocking visual image.
Quiet Riot was the first metal band who had like a #1 record, but Motley Crue was different. They pretty much became the first really important band from LA during the 80s.
LA is like decadent, you know? And they were the band that came out of LA that was decadent, man. They were just, you could tell, they just dripped with sleaze and sex and blood and fire.
I think there's that rebellious part of us that wanted to really stand out and shock the out of people. We were like the weirdest dudes on the planet walking down Sunset Boulevard in stiletto heels, makeup, crazy hair, tattooed, drunk.
Clearly, we did not give a we did not care about consequences. We were the first band that was doing something that was against the grain of the time.
First time I saw Motley Crue. Musically, it was abysmal. You couldn't understand a word that they were singing. I don't even know if they were playing, but they were blowing up. they were lighting each other on fire. When I went backstage and talked to him for 5 minutes, it was like, you know, I'm Doc McGee, and he goes, yeah, great, dude. So here, give me a beer. Anybody got any drugs? They were just like this gang that got to go around L.A. and torture people with all their antics.
We thought we were invincible, you know. I mean, we'd be walking down the street and look over you know, an unmanned cop car, and Nikki would just go over and grab something and just smash you know, a bottle through the windshield of the cop car and start pissing in it. And you know, I'd you know, often look around going like, I can't believe we're getting away with it. Like, we got away with murder.
Look at the stuff we get on stage. You can hurl sensor bars across it. This chick's out in the audience, man. If it wasn't for you, I'd never take it off.
I always said that the worst thing that could ever happen to Motley Crue would be if somebody caught us drinking a glass of milk. It could be like career shattering. Anything else is okay, you know, drug busts and car crashes and fights, that's okay.
Como Led Zeppelin 15 años antes, el libertinaje de Motley Crue fuera del escenario ocasionó grandes habladurías. El público se congregaba en sus conciertos para atestiguar el espectáculo, y Crue se entregaba cada noche.
There's different kinds of success. There's chart success and album sales success. We didn't really think like that. We hadn't been jaded yet. We thought success was how many more amps could we get on stage? How much bigger could we make our pyro? That was what we wanted. We would go see other bands and go, we can top that.
You know, explosions, volume, the biggest PA system on the planet, the biggest light show in the world. Like, that's always been metal's calling. It's like bigger, better, faster, harder, louder. And I'm proud to say I'm a big part of that.
That is a show.
Más grande, más rápido, más fuerte no solo fue la tarjeta de presentación de Crew, fue también el himno de actuaciones del metal de la vieja escuela como Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, que tocaban para auditorios atestados por todo el país y agasajando a los fanáticos con espectaculares presentaciones.
We wanted to give more to the audience. Our aim was to give everyone what used to be called the Disneyland e-ticket. So when you bought your ticket there, you not only got the ride, you got all the accoutrements of the ride. You got all of it. 20-foot dragon that, that roars and moves, with full laser show. I mean, anything you could think of.
Did Geezer tell you about the one we had, the Stonehenge? Oh, man, that's probably the most over the top we've ever had.
The management that we had at the time had this great idea to have Stonehenge recreated on stage with the sun rising behind Stonehenge while we were playing.
Months later, the set turns up. This Stonehenge, which is, quite honestly, it's bigger than the real Stonehenge. It was massive. And we're looking up at this thing going, bloody hell. What are we going to do with this? Where's it going to fit?
What happened, the dimensions that the management company had given were in feet, and the manager, by the time he did it in meters, so it was like 3 times bigger than what it And then Spinal Tap came out, who just happened to have the tiny Stonehenge.
The little children of Stonehenge, beneath the haunted moon.
En el 84, los visionarios de los cómics Christopher Guest, Harry Shearer y Michael McKeon crearon el documental ficticio Este es Spinal Tap. El filme es sumamente exitoso, dirigido por Robert Reiner, quien ayudó a unir la presa recién encontrada del metal con la cultura pop mientras daba unas bien merecidas punzadas.
Spinal Tap was a mockumentary because it's making a mockery of some of the stupidity and stereotypes of heavy metal bands.
It was so funny it hurt. It struck, nerves, and that's good comedy does that.
There's so many one-liners in that movie that are brilliant.
It's such a fine line between stupid and clever.
The Black Album cover.
How much more black could this be? And the answer is none.
I think everybody has had a Spinal Tap moment.
First door you sign, authorized, personnel only. Yeah. Open that door, that's the stage.
Thank you very much.
Rock and roll!
My Spinal Tap moment was along the lines getting lost on the way to the stage. In the Midwest, there's a lot of venues that have a coliseum on one side and a theater on the other side. So the band went out on the stage, I hear the roar of the crowd, and I go running out onto the stage to an empty hall. There's no equipment, there's no people, and you cannot imagine what's going on in my mind. My mind is blown, and I'm clean and sober. I'm standing out there in the big costume, and I'm going to hear music, and my roadie comes running out and grabs me and drags me to the other side. Hello, Chicago!
Hello, Cleveland! Hello, Cleveland!
You must have made a wrong time.
As cool as heavy metal is, it's also quite silly sometimes, and that just personifies that thought.
It was pretty accurate as to how bloated the whole genre had become.
But it's very special because the numbers all go to 11.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
La historia del metal.
I was the most recognizable face in heavy metal rock and roll then. I was the poster boy. And they were not ready for Dee Snider.
Mr. Snider, what is the name of your fan club?
The fan club is called the Sick Friends of Twisted Sister.
Heavy.